Hello classmates, and welcome to my second ELA video. Due to time constraints, this video will be short with no production value, unlike the last one, where it was long, but with no production value. To save on time and resources, the background and background music will be provided by Mother 3, emulated using Visual Boy, and translated to English by a fan group. This video will be on figurative language, such as alliteration, allusions, analogies, euphemisms, hyperboles, the three types of ironies, paradoxes, and idioms. Let's start with alliteration and get the show on the road. Alliteration is the repetition of a sound at the beginning of a word, but only applies to consonants. Some examples are: Peter purchased peanuts for his pompous poodle. Even eating harmless homemade honey ham had its dangers. Toby, the tailless toad, hopped hopefully down the treacherous road. And when watering wilting water lilies, always fertilize them afterwards. I will now highlight the areas of alliteration: A, to save time; B, because repronouncing them will take forever; and C, because I know you don't want to hear me drone on about alliteration. Besides, paradoxes are way cool. Allusion is referencing a well-known person, place, event, and basically anything you classify as a noun. The examples I have are: Sam decided Call of Duty Ghost was more important than his math homework, so he hopped on Xbox Live to play with his friends. And James could hear the guard patrolling above him, whistling the Pokemon theme song. Once more, I'll highlight the exact location of the allusion and cite where they come from before moving on to analogy. Analogies are basically a simile with an explanation, some examples being buried alive is very much like drowning. The inability to breathe in air and filling your lungs with things that shouldn't be in there make a very painful death. Arguing on the internet is like filling a barrel full of holes with water. Difficult, painstaking, and accomplishes nothing. If you want to go without lunch, well, let me just say, it's like being pinched continuously for several hours. Hurts for a while, but eventually you get used to it and stop noticing it. And that last example was so long-winded, reading it was like doing a speech while having a mouthful of peanut butter. It took several minutes to get it right. Despite the first one being somewhat morbid, I will force you to look at it again to see where the analogy was, along with the rest of the sentences. Now, let's move on to euphemisms. Euphemisms are saying things in a nice way in order to keep from offending people. Sentences include: he really is a ukulele. Did you see how much effort he put into his project? Or is just being a sourpuss right now. He didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Ellen is a little under the weather right now. Mind calling back later? And the reason we have gathered you here today is to explain your son's condition. His days are numbered. I will now unblock the explanations for the euphemisms and highlight them as per usual, and move on to the next one: hyperboles.
This is a ukulele. Ukulele is a Polynesian word meaning underachiever.
Hyperboles are over-exaggerations used for a comedic effect. Examples include: I have a ton of homework. The kittens were so cute, my face exploded. No one can beat Rico's pizza. Nobody. And I spent years working on this video. It's actually been about 2 hours at this point, but if only because of my chores. Anyways, you know the drill. Highlight, look, move on. Irony is something happening that you didn't expect to happen, typically the opposite of what you expected to happen, and is split into 3 subcategories: verbal irony, irony in dialogue form, situational irony, where the situation itself is ironic, and dramatic irony, where the audience knows something the main characters don't. Some examples of verbal irony include: hey Shorty, my sister greeted me. She called me Shorty, even though I was a few inches taller than her. And what hasn't already been said about our school lunch? Asked Jamie. How about, our school lunch is very similar to Windows Movie Maker. I bet that hasn't been said, I replied. Some examples of situational irony are: the doctor was bleeding out, but when he reached out to the cupboard with the bandages, they were all out. And the hero finally made it to the castle to feed the evil dragon, only to be foiled by the wolves who had been stalking the rabbit he killed for food. Finally, some examples of dramatic irony include: the killer in the play snuck up behind the detective, holding a finger to his mouth and asked the audience to be quiet before he stabbed the detective in the back. And the observant viewer would know the video would not end well because the comments' obsession over how bad the crash must have felt. I'll give you a moment to review these and we'll move on to paradoxes. Paradoxes are contradictory statements or ideas used to point to a deeper meaning beyond the literal interpretation. Some examples of my second favorite figurative language include: volcanoes give Jim the chills. His experiences with fire not going well reinforced the idea to him more than most. It was sunny today, but the rain kept Haley from going outside. Taking strolls on the beach was depressing for Fred, so he stayed behind. And when I grow up, I want to be a kid. If you're wondering what my favorite kind of figurative language is, it's puns. But sadly, no puns here. So let's move on to the last kind in this project: idioms. Idioms are sayings that have a different meaning from their literal interpretations. Some examples of idioms include: well, I guess the cat is out of the bag. This movie jumped the shark before the opening credits were even done. Forrest ran like the wind, and the boys were unable to catch up to him. And Eric was walking on sunshine after he won the lottery. While you guys look over this, I'd like to announce a few things. As of this project, all my video projects will be uploaded to YouTube at www.youtube.com/user/PON2354. Also, over the spring break, I may make videos for CRCT reviews, not just for language arts, but also for science and social studies. But not math. Why not math? Because I don't have your guys' math class, and I might just go way over the top with that, and I can't easily show it because I don't have your guys' class. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and look forward to the CRCT reviews.